nation. You've been giving life. Every teardrop, every smile. Nature's more than butterflies. Carry the world 1,000 times, and I'm hopeful that someday you'll see what I more than worthy of molding a nation. I wanna be shining your crown, more than worthy of making a nation. Take off your crown on most days, but there's a halo there and it's gonna stay. It'll stay. For everything depends on you, woman. You're more than worthy of molding a nation. And you're more than worthy. I wanna be shining your crown. Do you know you're more than worthy? You're more than beautiful, you're more than powerful to me.
I am unstoppable.
I am confident. I am limitless.
I am a strong woman. Be proud of you. Be bold. Be brave.
You are enough.
You are valuable.
You are capable.
You are phenomenal. Be you.
You are fabulous.
You are dynamic.
We are worthy.
More than worthy of molding a nation. I wanna be shining your crown. More than worthy of making a nation. I wanna be shining your crown.
This is Letitia Wright, and you're listening to the Women Empowerment Program. Big shouts out to Martina, Ramona.
I love you guys. So great question.
Ramona Luti and my lovely co-host Martina Johnson, who did something really, really nice to her hair. It looks very poofy. I wanted to touch it, but I didn't know how you take it, so
Don't touch my hair.
All right, so a special thanks to all of our dedicated listeners on 99.7 FM in Georgetown and Anai, as well as greetings to those tuned in on 89.9 FM in Ituni, Maruka and Port Kaituma. A big shout out to our New Amsterdam audience catching us on 98.9 FM, and a warm good night to everyone else tuned in on 99.9 FM.
Yes, remember you can join our conversation on our Facebook page at EduFM, that's EDYOUFM, where you can comment and engage with us live. And you can also reach out to us via WhatsApp on 6008343. The number again is 6008343. And if you prefer to text, that's fine. We do that too. You can also get us, you can tell your friends, if they don't have a radio where they are, or they don't want to listen on the Facebook page, they can stream us live on EduFM's website, which is edyu.fm, edyu.fm. And you can also download the EdPal app. You're on the go and you want to listen to us. The EdPal app, it's on the Android system, and you can download it. We're still working on getting it on the iPhones, so you can get it soon, we promise. But you can get the app and you can listen to us live, while you can also access all the educational content for nursery, primary, secondary school students, as well as CPCE. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good evening. I'm Martina Johnson, and thanks for always tuning in every Tuesday evening to the Women Empowerment Program. We have an exciting program ahead. Ramona, I know you were busy all day, and I don't have to ask what you're doing for my benefit, but I'm going to ask for the listeners' benefit. What have you been doing for the past few days?
I have been preparing for Spell It. I am one of the Word Masters, and tomorrow is the finals. And it's a huge thing. It's a big deal, and so we're trying to ensure that we cater to everything that could possibly go right or wrong.
What's
And,
the difference between WizKid and Spell It?
So Spell It is a spelling bee competition. And WizKids is sort of like an Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, but only for sixth grader. Grade sixers. So it's like that. But,
so you get asked for with kids about social studies, science, maths.
the core subjects, yes.
Okay. Now I get it.
And Spell It is still a spelling bee competition.
Okay. So
But,
the whole time I thought was WizKids that you were doing. Although I'm saying Spell It, I thought they probably give it a different name this year.
No, so it's the same thing, but this is our second year with Spell It. Again, we've recently wrapped up WizKids for the second season, and yeah, it's a huge thing. So it's like a lot of preparation that goes into it, and our team is already very small, and we're pulled in various directions. But one thing I like with our team is everyone is so versatile. I mean, we might have been employed to do one thing, but we're there to lend a hand in all the areas that are necessary. Like we have staff who are wanting to be, or not willingly maybe, but, but they're accepting of that, the fact that we will need people to be ushers and stuff, and to guide whomever the members of the audience and whatnot. So I mean, while it isn't the nicest job, I presume, I'm just saying, I don't know, I wouldn't like it.
It sounds exciting.
But we have some friendly people, so they know that they're friendly. So they're like, you know what? I don't mind. I'll greet the people and put them in their respective places to sit. But yeah, tomorrow is a huge deal, and it starts really early. Our day as a team starts at 7 a.m. And
I got a couple of more questions, but I know that our viewers are on. They're seeing our guests in studio, and yes, we're going to come to the guests just now. We have a very informative discussion coming up shortly. But since Spell It's finals is tomorrow, I think that we should give our listeners a little bit more information on what's happening tomorrow, where it's happening, what time, who can come, what you're going to win, if you could win anything. No, adults
so
not
the
winning
prizes
anything.
are for children. Actually, the main prize will be for the Spelling Bee champion. So the format is basically a recurring set of rounds. We don't have a stable number of rounds based on how the competition goes and the eliminations and whatnot. But we have a list of words, approximately 300 words, that we will be using for the finals. And one word per child per round.
And I know you spent the whole day going
through words,
pronunciations,
definitions,
yes.
sentences, and just checking and double checking to ensure that it's accurate. My fellow word master and I, Jonathan Jacobus, have been working on that, as well as the head of the learning channel. But yeah, it's been a very, very tedious process, and
so much so you didn't have any voice last week.
I didn't, and I still. You hear me? I sound different.
You sound different.
I still have the thing, but I don't know. It's a bug or something. But I have to hope my voice gets even better for tomorrow, because I'll be
have
talking.
some honey and lime. Listen, send us some WhatsApp messages on 600-8343 and recommend something for Ramona's voice. Or you can also message us on the Facebook, which is edu.fm, EDYOU FM. Send us a message on Facebook or WhatsApp or a text, and let us get some homemade remedies on what can work for Ramona. She's going to try them all.
I do. I need it. Because I think Ashwini suggested I use the turmeric thing. It didn't taste nice, but I tried it. I tasted it.
You're supposed to take
I
it.
tasted it one time. I'm like, It tastes like curry powder.
Turmeric has so many healing.
It did.
It's sorry.
No, it's turmeric. But it
turmeric
tasted
is
like
yellow
curry powder.
or orange?
It's yellow. It looks the same, right? Doesn't it?
Yes.
It
So
does.
I just want to make sure that it's the right thing.
It
you
was the
use.
right thing. I am positive I used turmeric, girl.
So
At
I
least that's
use
what people tell
turmeric
me.
on chicken. Like ordinarily, if I'm not going to use tomatoes or curry or something, so I like to use turmeric. I love the taste of turmeric. I don't know how you don't.
Anyways, I like Marmite and you don't, so that probably explains
You
a lot.
like what?
Marmite.
I'm judging.
All right. I think
It explains that I have better taste than you people, because Marmite is
I
delicious.
think this is the perfect time to introduce our guest, because Marmite.
Marmite.
Akash.
All right, ladies and
Wow.
gentlemen, let us introduce our guest to you. So we're introducing Akash Prasad, a dedicated psychologist and co-founder. The reason I'm just speeding this along is because you guys are laughing me. I really
No,
can't.
hold on. I'm going to ask the
Anyways.
psychologist what sort of damage you have that you could like Marmite.
Marmite is yummy, dude. Like, I would sit and eat an entire bottle of Marmite just like in one night.
I got punished to eat Marmite as a child. And no matter
That's
what
one
they
punishment
did
I
to
would have
me,
liked.
I did not
I just
eat
like
that
it.
Marmite.
I really, really like it. Like, I eat it with everything. I could eat
Do
it
you
with
eat
everything.
Karela?
No, I don't.
Wow.
I don't like
As you
Karela.
continue to
Akash
talk.
Prasad, take notes.
Yeah, I'm
Hold on,
making
let me
notes.
introduce you first. Wait, be straight up. So, Akash is a dedicated psychologist and co-founder of the Registered Friendly Society Educators Pride. With a deep love for nature and a genuine passion for connecting with people, Akash brings a unique perspective to our Women Empowerment program this evening. And he's also the Senior Guidance and Counseling Officer at the Ministry of Education. And so he's committed to fostering cognitive development and providing crucial
Psychosocial support.
Listen, the words
It's
and
all
meat
those-
It's the Marmite. It's the Marmite.
psychosocial support to students and their families. Like, I'm so tired of seeing words. Like,
No,
I was
that's the
going
side
to say
effect of
it's
Marmite.
all those words
no,
that
it's
you
not.
did today.
Yeah,
And
dude,
your brain is just
300
confused
words.
now? But I'd have to
Of
agree.
300 out
it's
of
probably
it.
Marmite.
No. I could do with some Marmite, like, right now. I really could. I haven't had Marmite in a while, but I really could. But yeah, like, so many words today, dude. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind.
But we've got the right person in the studio here. So Akash,
Oh, yes! I said probably not the right things to be saying around you.
I'm making notes.
you know, we'll do that. Some
$5,000
experiential
an hour.
experiential
$5,000 an
journalism. I want to know, Akash, how long you've been doing this. One, working with the Ministry of Education as a senior guidance and counseling officer, and then a little bit about Educators Pride.
Sure. So recently I've came over to the ministry, and that's last July this year. July 3rd was my first day at the ministry as the senior guidance and counseling officer attached to the student support unit. And before that, I have been working tirelessly as an educator for the past 8 years. And I've been doing counseling drives all across the country in collaboration with the American Embassy, CIOG, Cancer Foundation, and many other organizations. And during the pandemic, it sparked the need for individual attention and some sort of intervention as it relates to children accessing educational resources, and at that, children, underprivileged children or children from vulnerable backgrounds, hence the birth of Educators Pride. And this we ought to cater for each child as an individual, giving them the resources and skill sets that they would need to succeed in our mainstream classrooms.
All right. That I think that's remarkable that you saw the need to have the Educators Pride, and I like the name.
Yeah.
It's unique, and I like that you're doing this. I felt like I knew your name from somewhere before when Ramona started mentioning that you'd be our first guest. And then you mentioned the Cancer Foundation, and like, it now makes sense.
I've been about.
So how long have you been passionate about the respective field?
So I'm relatively young. I've begun studying psychology as soon as I came out of high school. So that was in 2017.
Okay.
So I've been I've studied psychology for the past 6 years up to the master's level, where I'm hoping that somebody will sponsor me for my doctorate.
Well, gold scholarships. The list is coming out soon.
Yes.
Look
So
for it.
thank you. You'll put in a word of recommendation for me to get another one.
If y'all hearing, right?
Akash Prasad is the name.
Yes.
All right. So Akash, tell us. First, I mean, I don't want to ask hard questions because my brain is But anyways, how do you think empowering education positively impacts women and their communities in your work at Educators Pride?
Yeah, so at Educators Pride, we do the groundwork, we do the grassroots work. We get to know the person that we're dealing with and create plans uniquely to that person to aid that person and not, put them into a one-size-fits-all strategic plan. So we get to know the person, create a plan for that person, and go through with that person as an individual. At Educators Pride, we look at quality over quantity as it relates to our services. So we will definitely have been working on giving women the skill sets to be positive, contributing members of society and letting them know that there's space for them to exude that type of confidence in their communities.
If you'd have to list 3 of the more recurring or common issues that you find among teenagers in Guyana, so of course with the exposure, what would those issues be?
Definitely a sense of, longing, a sense of belonging. They want to fit in somewhere and they will try at any cost to fit in. And that will lead to the others, which is using the vaping in the classrooms and in homes and all these places, and also turn into substance abuse at an early age. In schools, we have complaints of children. I was so shocked the other day that I've learned that, grade 6 pupils are consuming alcohol and marijuana.
What?
Yeah. And this is in the outer skirts region. It's not that it's easily accessible. So now that begs the question of the accessibility of this substance. So there's intervention currently
And where
being
they're
done.
seeing it.
Exactly.
Because they learn what they live.
So I spoke with the regional education officer, and she said to me that there's a particular person that introduced it to the region.
Wow.
In Region 1, they don't have access to vape like we have in Georgetown. And, persons are taking it there and they're selling it. They're showing how, the smoke is coming out and it's the flavor, there's...
Wow.
They're making it fun, essentially.
Yeah.
I taught secondary school, and it wouldn't shock me for secondary school students, but when you say grade 6,
Listen,
it's like they're babies.
my entire being went under my table because it was unbelievable for me.
They're babies. Why would you introduce them to that? All right. And you did say that there are interventions that are being worked on. So I'm happy to hear at least that part, that you're working to put a stop to it. But what are some of the long-term effects that this can have? I know you're just seeing it, so you don't know the trends yet, but what are the possibilities?
So we can see some reflections of this in their performances, in their academics, whether at the National Grade 6 assessments or at CXC. All right? And that can go both ways. If they're not partaking, you will see a higher degree of academia, whether compared to when they are, partaking in these acts. You'd see a decline in their academics. That's one indicator. Also, you would see them in gangs, forming gangs, especially in the secondary schools. And that's one of the things that the ministry the student support unit is working on tirelessly in Georgetown, is to, have awareness in these schools, training our guidance and counseling officers in these schools to identify these signs and symptoms of, cry for help and reach out to these children and know that, somebody is looking out for them, an adult is there looking out for them. So we're working tirelessly. Coming Tuesday, we have a training session with all our officers in Region 4 and Georgetown. As you know, the ministry has implemented guidance counselors in secondary schools across the country. We're working on having more in those outer skirts regions. So we're working on that also. So we're giving them all the skill sets required so that they can be comfortable and competent in their positions in the schools.
That preempts the other question that we had about the support that he would give to teachers and so on in the school. Let's veer off a little bit out from the classroom and go to the issue of supporting women. What advice can you give individuals who are facing challenges in pursuing their goals and aspirations? There are some people who, whether it's money or they don't believe that they can, or it's the imposter syndrome, different things that would make people not study or start and stop, and sometimes not even believe in themselves that I'm doing well. They always have anxiety. What advice would you give individuals facing that struggle in pursuing their goals and
So
aspirations?
I'll share with you. So I shared 3 tips yesterday with my students at CPC. I said to them three things to avoid stress that would escalate into anxiety and depression on a other host of mental illnesses. I said to them to fix the fixable. Do not try to fix everything that comes in front of you, as you don't have that power. You will consume yourself with everything around you, trying to, this could have been this way and that could have been that way. You fix what's in your control, and you allow those things out of your control to be, because at the end of the day, you don't have power over that, and you will exude all your energy in trying to fix everything. And the second thing I said to them is to accept things for what they are. Yeah, we try to see the red flag, but yet we try to say, hey, this pink, no, this orange, this got to be Marv. Right? So and the last one I said to them is to do steps 1 and 2 so that it doesn't affect your holistic being. It doesn't affect your emotions, your thinking processes, your physical being, and your emotional being. Yeah. So, and this goes for persons that are struggling with, they're setting their goals and their academic achievements. Choose something that serves you, not go with the mass and just do business administration because everybody's doing business administration.
Back in the day, it was international relations.
Yes. Do something
and
that serves you.
communications.
Oh, yeah.
Communications, I think, is it now, and public management.
Yeah, that was the big thing. I was one of those doing international relations degree at UG because, everybody was doing it, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do in life yet.
Okay, but I'm doing it, so...
This was back in the day. I wasn't sure, but you sure?
I'm sure.
You just knew
it
what
just
you
ties
wanted.
in.
But for me,
This
it was
keeps getting worse with Ramona. I mean, from Marmite to this, like there's no hope. I really try my best.
It's international relations, and then there's also tourism and hospitality management, and then I work in digital media. So, like, where does it end?
No, but if you think about it, they all work
They all tie in.
together.
Yeah, they do.
When I did my
The end goal is to get both of these
So I did
sorted.
my master's in business administration and majored in HR. People were like,
But
"What are you doing? You've got journalism and communications." I'm like, "You don't realize that the work I do, I manage human resources all the time, and I'm venturing into my own business. You're not seeing the link? Well,
But here's another bit of it to tie in. I actually started studying computer science. I have a diploma in computer science, so that's where we started. So you see,
Marmite and that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the
You know
thing.
what's the remedy for that? Eating some Karela.
no, not it. You never get me to eat Karela. Nope.
Marmite.
Nope.
Are you eat correct?
Not Karela. And squash. Oh my gosh, no.
But listen,
Squash. What?
You don't like
Do you,
squash?
do you eat squash? I don't like squash. No.
Like curry squash.
I am worried for you.
No. I'm telling you, squash is ew. No.
I think
And
it's
Karela.
time to do an intervention. Let's hold hands.
You're all too willing.
I'll say a
I
prayer
really
for
can't.
her.
Oh my
Silently. But no, on a serious note, kudos to you guys too, because you guys are the blueprint for women now in this age. You guys are, established. You guys are well learned. You guys are professionals. So kudos to you guys for being a role model for our young girls in the schools and in our communities.
Thank you. And if you really meant that, you'd give me that puppy. There you have one.
I'll buy a Marmite for you.
Okay, fine. My birthday's coming up, so you should, yeah.
Oh, you're
That's
born in
better than
December?
nothing.
November.
That's worse.
Hey! Oh my goodness
right,
gracious.
Quick
That's the
question
best
for you.
time ever.
Since we were patting each other on the back, tell us about a success story that illustrates the direct impact of empowerment on someone's life.
Yeah, and this one always, it takes me back And it makes me a bit,
Don't cry.
yeah, no, listen, cue the tears. Because, as a teacher, and this is way before, me in the position that I am now. As a teacher, a very young teacher, I was probably 17. I got a phone call one afternoon, probably around 4:30 in the afternoon. I left school and so on. And the child called to say, she's in third form. She called to say, sir, you're the only person that listens to me. You're the only person that understands what I'm going through at home and in school. And I want you to be the last person I speak to before I do what I have to do. At 17,
Oh
Tell
my
me.
goodness.
what am I going to do? You are a child just as I am, right? However, situations mature you, eh?
Yeah.
And so I continue that conversation with the child on the phone, and we spoke about what's happening. And unknowing to her, I was already in a bus going to her home because I was her form master and I had her address. Unknowing to her, I was going.
You just jumped in the bus and right away headed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't driving. I jump in a public transportation and I head to Diamond. And all the while on the phone with her, talking about what she's feeling and processing, helping her process what she wants to do and how she's feeling. And I finally got there. She was sitting on the roadside, and I jumped out of the bus. And soon as she saw me, she ran up to me and she hugged me. And I said to her, well, she started crying, and one teardrop. No, I'm kidding.
You're allowed one teardrop. You are.
And I sat there and I spoke with her for hours, and then I did interventions at age 17. I now started university. I don't know about psychology. I don't know about counseling. I don't know about anything. I needed help myself at that time. And I spoke with her, and I did interventions with her parents. I sat her parents down to help them see things through her eyes, to give her that space to express her freedom. And here what? 2023, she is alive, and she is a graduate from the University of Guyana. And she has completed her bachelor's degree. And to this day, she's well. I can say that. She is healthy mentally and physically. And that could have gone south if I chose to be a teenager and not a teacher. And that's why, as educators, we have so much, I don't want to say power, but we have so much to give to our students and learners. And, we should not take that lightly at all, because we could be saving lives. And we are saving lives.
And that's why you also need to pay keen attention to, the way what you put out there. Because, as you said, had you been a teen and not an educator or a teacher or acted in the capacity of the adult she needed at that time, it could have gone another way.
Oh, yes. And
Like,
she was serious.
I'm scared to do interventions because what if it goes exactly where the person wanted to go? I would feel ineffective, and I would feel like for some reason I failed that person.
Yeah.
I've done many interventions. Like I got trained with the Girl Guides, counseling, and so on, but it's always something that I am very skeptical of doing. The last intervention that I had attempted with a group of friends, the person that we were trying to help basically said that everything that she was going through, because it ended up being so grave that it would have had to involve making reports to the police about certain things. And she was like, everything that I told you guys would happen is not true. And if y'all take me to the station, I'm going to say it's not true. But we knew it was true. We saw the signs of it being true.
Yeah.
And it is very difficult for survivors of certain situations to go forward because of the system and the stigma, and even stigma with mental health issues. So that brings me to the issue of mental health and the stigma. How can I've been to therapy, but how many people who've actually been to therapy are willing to say I've done therapy?
Yeah.
I've done the work,
because
it's not
the
just
stigma is there.
Yeah.
People say you're mad, you're crazy, like all these adjectives they put to it that make you feel very badly about doing it. So
Like you're strange, you're unorthodox.
Yeah, and they violate your mental space.
Yeah.
how do we overcome that? One, wanting to go take that step to do therapy and to go the extra mile with whatever it is that we need to do to get help. And two, ignoring the noise of the stigma and people saying, go to therapy, that thing don't work. People just in your business and they can tell everybody about you. Like, how do we navigate those two things? Taking the step to be counseled and preaching about it and telling
Yeah.
other people, do it. It
So
helps.
so the second
Advocating
part,
for it, essentially.
yeah, definitely. Having a sense of advocacy now than ever is very important. It's very essential to our well-being, and that effective well-being. We live in a space, in a region where confidentiality lacks, and for that reason, persons lack confidence in us as professionals, because their situation may go out and they may be embarrassed. However, that's not the case for everyone. Persons are very ethical, very professional. However, they're one in a few, right? So having a sense of advocacy and raising awareness, having people know that mental health is a thing. It's not a taboo. It's not something that you should be ashamed of. It is your truth. And you mentioned the situation just now where the young lady said that she would go to the police and say that's not true. That's a mental health case. You know that she can be probably suffering from underlying comorbidities of disorders, where she would make herself sick to to get the sympathy from you, but she don't really want to do it. That's fictitious disorder, right? So we definitely need awareness and advocacy so that we can do what we have to do as professionals to see the change we want to see.
In cases of, counselors are being implemented in the various schools and whatnot to be available to these children. But what measures are being put in place to ensure that these children take advantage of that opportunity? Because I don't know, are they making this compulsory? And if you do, is that the right thing to do? Because it should also be an option.
Yeah.
But then again, some children don't know. Remember, these are kids at the end of the day.
Right.
They don't know what's right for them.
All right, so we took that into consideration. So we're using our HFLE periods, health and family life education periods in schools, to educate them, to raise awareness about the counselor. What are some of the things that they can do? What are the duties? What are the responsibilities? So when you go there, you don't feel violated, right? So now they have all the information that is needed about the use and the purpose of a counselor. So now they can go to the counselor at any point in time during the contact hours.
In terms of like confidentiality, though, I mean, it's easy to say yes, you as a professional need to be confidential, but as you mentioned, we have adults that are not confidential.
Definitely.
We have people that may come in. Oh, I know you. I know your father, your mother. Tell everybody you went to do whatever it was.
Yeah.
Not everybody does that, but people do.
Yeah.
Are there contractual arrangements for these children with their respective counselors?
Yes.
Like, yes, they're kids, but they can still sign, or they can have their parents sign for them.
Definitely. So we have the confidentiality clause with the counselors in schools, where they have the little it's a letter that they sign to say that, hey, everything that is said to me in this session will remain confidential. If by chance you appear to be a threat to yourself or anyone around you, we are mandated by law to report it to the higher authorities.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I like that.
Yes.
Having worked in the media for some time, I have a little level of popularity. A couple of people know me. So one of the things about choosing someone to talk with or talk to has been, for me, something difficult to navigate, because you have to think about, what if this person knows me? What if this person is going to repeat scenarios about my case to others? And how do people navigate that? How do you say, well, I'm going to choose this one, or I'm not going to choose, because you don't have proof of them being tattletales, I say tattletales, or breaching confidentiality. But what should you look for in choosing a therapist or a counselor?
So definitely the choice exists where you can have a pick and choose as it relates to who you want to be the facilitator of your mental processes. However, most times what we look for when we're looking for a psychologist or a therapist is for somebody to buy into whatever we are thinking about or whatever
The
we are
perspective we
projecting.
have.
Yes, we want somebody to emulate that perspective. We don't want to hear a different perspective. So sometimes the choice that you're making serves you, and it serves that maladaptive behavior that you have. You know, it's not that it's going to be, you're not going to choose somebody that have a different perspective than you, but
I've had luck with that. Finding
well,
people
good
with
for you.
different perspectives.
687-8859, that's my number.
6678859. That's how we can get Akash. I remember numbers very well.
68.
But I think it would be ideal for us to choose somebody who has an objective perspective.
Yeah.
So, because quite often, I mean, this happens to me too. Like, I'm so stuck in my perspective. This is my understanding, and this is how it feels from my point of view. But that's because I'm being subjective. I'm only looking from my point of
Yes.
view. I don't see how other people are seeing it, and it's good to have that outside source to be able to say, yes, you see this line or you see this number as 6, but if you come over from over here, you see there's a 9. So, like...
So, and that's kind of...
But you also have to be willing to accept that...
The 6 is not a 9.
Yes.
Right.
So
That's another thing.
That's kind of my modus operandi when I am facilitating. I validate what you are feeling and what you are thinking. However, I respectfully offer a different perspective. All right? And I don't say it to you. I lead you through it where you can identify it for yourself. Right? So it's not that I am just pushing it onto you.
So you're talking about the 6 and the 9. I went into a shoe store, and this is the sign on the pair of shoes at the bottom to indicate the size. So it's a 9. And the lady selling the shoes is telling me, no, it's a size 6. Look, it's a size 6. And I'm saying, but there's a line under the number which indicates that it has to be upright.
Right.
And this is a 9. And she try it on. I know what I'm saying. It's a 6. I'm like, it's not a 6. It's a 9. I can even look at it. She's like, try it on. Look. She take down the shoes and she said, you sit down. And she put it on me. She's like, oh, you're right. It's a 9.
That's equivalent to eating Marmite. I'm sorry.
But I'm just...
Listen,
I
Marmite
use
is
that,
yummy. Y'all don't go there. Good.
I use that as an example.
I go to buy
of
Marmite when I
sometimes that we're so stuck in our view.
Yeah.
And the obvious is there. Like, if you're selling shoes, you could look at the 6 and know it's a 6.
Yeah.
Or you could look at a 9 and know it's a 9. And it's not a 6. Right? So sometimes we're just so stuck in what we want to see.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't even put any thought into it. Like, the reasoning, the line is there. We don't see the line. How do we come out of that rut where we're stuck on seeing this number without the line at the bottom that indicates what position it should be in?
And this should take a lot of guided self-work. All right? So I was
Guided self-work.
Yes.
You telling me what to do and I'm doing it.
Yes.
Good.
You know, so
You're essentially putting in the work.
Yeah, and guess what?
You're not just listening to somebody talk.
Exactly. And when you do it for yourself, you would feel more proud. You'd feel that you'd have a sense of pride in knowing that, hey, I did this for myself,
And I know
nobody
why
can tell
I did
me
it.
anything. Yeah. And what I'm making reference to my classes all the time. So what I normally tell my students, I said to them at CPC, I told them that you guys are all smart. You guys just need to hear it out loud so that it makes sense to you. And that's essentially the problem with a lot of persons. They just need to hear it loud and in the open so that it registers to them, hey, this is a possible solution. This is a possible outcome. This is something that we can do. So, yeah.
I think we all like to have extrinsic motivations, the things from other people that make us see and feel that we're doing great. Because you might personally know that you're doing great, but without people highlighting it and celebrating it, it becomes, after a while, you start to question it. Like, am I really doing this? You know?
Yeah, is this really making sense?
Yeah, I like the idea of extrinsic motivation. What role does that play in your counseling and guiding students in schools?
Definitely. Students, especially in the secondary schools, they're at an age where every small victory must be celebrated so that they can build a sense of self. And as we talk about sense of self, we're talking about their self-worth, their self-identity, their self-image, having a solid self-confidence to know that, hey, I am here for a sole purpose, which is getting my education, and after succeeding in the world after school. And, you know,
the role that the extrinsic factors play in that, you know, when you're counseling and guiding.
yeah,
them.
so having children know that you see them, it goes a long way. Especially as it can probably be as a therapist or even an adult, having an adult see that hey, you are doing well, you're doing good, that would go a long way for them. On the other hand, giving them $100,
Not $100.
A reward. Not $100 really much.
listen,
No.
there's 5 icicle. 5
Not
icicle.
still.
Really?
How much for an icicle now?
It's not like $20 for an
right?
icicle.
Can you buy me like 10 icicles, please?
I think like a snow cone is $100.
No.
That's like
Snow cone is a lot of money.
It's like $260 the other day, dude. Yeah, they're
no,
the ones for
$500 for
500.
adults and like $260 for children.
But oh my gosh,
and if you pay,
we
if you
came
get
a
milk,
long way.
if you
from
get
when we used to
milk
pay
on it, it's more. Look at
$6
what we're
for
talking about.
Ramon, you had $260 to go to school? I did not get $260 to go to school.
No, actually, no, I didn't. I got up to secondary school. I got $100. Yeah, $100.
Really?
Yeah,
Y'all young,
way
man?
back when. Yeah, $100.
young.
I had passage money, $100 for going, $100 for come back.
That's like 300 in total. 100 to go, 100 to come back. I used to have to walk from the park to school and walk and come back.
No, it can't be $100. Y'all used to get, man.
$100.
Listen,
$100.
hence I'm
What
studying
$100
psychology.
could
Back then, it actually
with my
bought a
trauma.
lot. Back then,
Like
back then, it
a
bought a lot.
soda is more than $100.
You don't get that.
Water is more than $100 now.
Yeah, like we all used to eat.
Other people's food.
Okay, no. I used to take lunch back in those days. Yeah. Yep.
Like it just. I
now
thought like
it has like no value. Now like, but dude, I used to pay $60 for a snow cone, and now
I feel like I forgot and I forgot value of money, man. Like I can't imagine what $100 could do. Now I go to the supermarket, I can't even get a pack of
no,
gum.
I go pick
A
up.
pack of gum is like $300.
Yeah, it's
Gum.
$280 actually. Yeah,
$300 because the $20 change can't get you a mint.
Oh yeah.
you just
Oh,
put
yeah.
$20 change in those Red Cross boxes.
That's where it goes in the animal box. Yeah. Wow. I feel like I need some help with this money thing that's happening. That will take me back to therapy.
Yes.
So what are some of the key elements that you use to create a supportive and inclusive environment for students to excel? I'm going to repeat the question. It's like a pageant. What are some of the key elements that you use to create a supportive and inclusive environment for students to excel academically and personally?
Right. So at the ministry, from where I sit, I manage regions 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and Georgetown. So one of the things that we try to facilitate is capacity building with our officers to ensure that they have all the skill sets and the competence to ensure that they are catering for the sociocultural diversity, psychosocial background, the psychological, the academics, and the social development of these children on an individual basis, because that's what essentially we want, for each child to have a tailored approach in our schools when they go to visit our guidance and counselor. Not one technique or therapeutic intervention will be used across the board. So essentially that will be tailored upon knowing what the situation is. For example, I will not use the same approach as it relates to self-harm as it relates to bullying, right? They may have some similarities in the approaches. However, it will not be the same. Also, we on capacity building, we are ensuring that these officers have the capabilities and the ability to identify when something is happening, because as you guys rightfully said earlier, not everyone will go to a counselor. Not everyone will say when something is bothering them. All right? And one thing that we're trying to have across in our schools is a safe space where persons can interact with their counselors. As you know, that there's a problem of having enough space in secondary schools. So our counselors are operating from, most of them have a room, but some of them are operating from the libraries, which is a big enclosed place. And, you know, there is some sort of privacy, but not 100%. So we are working tirelessly and resolving that so that these students and pupils can have access to a safe space where they know that, hey, I am free to say whatever I want, and I am having full expressive creativity here. So we're working tirelessly on that.
I know there's one school that in particular uses the sick day, so the other children in the class don't know that the child is going to the counselor.
Okay.
It's just, I'm not feeling well, I'm going to the sick day.
Yeah, and that's the same as it goes for the library.
Yeah.
You go to the library, you go to read a book, but no, you pop in on the counselor to say, hey, miss, I'm feeling a 3 today, and I'm not sure how I can get this to a workable 7. And then we have a quick intervention there, and, you know, we teach, well, we facilitate so many strategies with our counselors so that they can have a plethora of options to choose from, and not everybody has to sit down and talk about something. And I always recommend journaling. And my style of journaling is not to make entries in paragraphs. My style of journaling is you can draw something that represents how you felt at that moment. You can write a poem, all right? You can even make a rap song, and that's how I journal. I have images, I have poems.
You got a rap song in that book?
Listen, Nicki Minaj reached out to me a few minutes ago. I'm kidding.
I guess you have a track coming up on Pink
Yes.
Friday too.
So it's good that you do all of these things. You make these, extra measures available for these children to be able to reach out. But how do you collaborate? How do you collaborate with the teachers and parents to ensure that whatever it is you're trying to, help this child with is a success?
Yeah, and that's also one of our tasks at the Ministry of Education, is to have an improvement as it relates to the teacher and student relationship, the teacher and parent relationship, and the family and peer relationship. How we go about this, we use the PTA meetings to convene whatever it is that we're implementing into the schools. And also we invite parents of children that that has been consistently flagged for misbehaviors or misdemeanors or so on. So yes, definitely parents are one of the core parts of our function in the schools.
So
Because of course we want to have the parents involved in the processes, because sometimes it go way beyond the schoolyard as it relates to the problems or issues that the children are dealing with. So most times we have family interventions.
So how does the confidentiality clause step in here? Because quite often I would presume, a lot of the issues that children deal with, that they, people that bully or are subjected to bullying, it starts within the home. Now, if the problem basically stemmed from the home, the household, and they're confiding to you, like, this is what goes on in my household, how do you go about now to, incorporate the parent into being better, essentially, but without telling them, like, your child said this?
Yeah, so definitely you won't want to put yourself and the child in that situation. And yes, as much as everything can be done in the school, there are many referral pathways that we equipped our counselors with, and one of that is the mental health unit, where they can be referred to and have the psychologists at the mental health unit do evaluations and assessments with the parents. Also, the Ministry of Human Service and Social Security, they are also referred there where services can be aided to them, and GPHC. The psychiatric department in cases of mental health issues. Mostly in the schools we're seeing complaints, not diagnoses, but complaints of depression, anxiety, bipolar disorders, and we're naming things, and that's one of the things that as a professional I want us to move away from, because hey, I'm feeling sad. That doesn't mean I'm depressed. That's an umbrella term that we're using. Not because we're a bit nervous. We have anxiety. Yeah. My mood switches from depending on the situation. That doesn't mean I'm bipolar or I have mood disorders. All right. So we need to move away from using terms that we hear or we read about, and labels. Yeah. And use emotions or terms that actually describe what you're feeling. Hey, I'm nauseous. Hey, I'm nervous. I'm sad. I'm happy. I'm excited. And not use these labels that would put you in
a box, essentially.
In a box, essentially.
And then what can happen too is the placebo effect may come into play there, because you feel you have anxiety. So now your body and your mind now believes this.
Listen, and that's what we're dealing with in the schools, because they believe that they have anxiety and depression and all the other hosts of mental health issues. And
while this might be true for some people, not every single person that feels this way, it's applicable to.
And guess what? Because they would have been saying this for a prolonged period of time, when your mind manifests it for you now, you've been crying wolf all the time. Now when intervention must happen, the person may not believe you. They may say that, it's the same thing again, and why am I going to waste my time? But, we still...
But even that in itself is a disorder, the crying wolf behavior.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I got a question here from a listener. Is any data from the sessions with the students gathered and used for long-term interventions or long-term plans?
So, yes. So, the sessions... Well, these counselors are relatively new in the schools. So definitely data from sessions held with counselor and students would gauge in their future developmental training sessions, where we can equip the other counselors with those skill sets. And also, yes, long-term, when I say long-term, I mean throughout their schooling at the institution, checks will be made, and monitoring and evaluation will be done throughout that child's school life.
All right. So for the listener who asked that question, I hope that provided
and thank you for that question.
I hope that the response answers what you are seeking, specifically if the data is collected and how is it used for planning and interventions in the long term. In this field that you work, it can be stressful and frustrating. Where do you get help when you need that mental break?
So I have a happy place, and my happy place is the creek. So ever so often you will see me at the creek, and that's something I do for myself, because essentially I think that we all have that power where we can say this serves me and I'm going to engage in this because it takes my mind off of this. All right, so the creek is my happy place, or any body of water. I'm not suicidal, please. But
can you swim though?
I can float.
I mean, it's so weird because the creek is your happy place, or bodies of water are your happy places, but like, anyways, I get it.
Again, I journal. As I said, I journal. I make creative outcomes of whatever emotions that I have, and I'm very ethical as it relates to, compartmentalizing with, hey, this is therapy, and this is Akash, and I will not allow Ms. Johnson's session to consume my being. Okay. So I don't lose my individuality at all.
You're talking about journaling and drawing, right? And drawing what represents how you feel. Now, I don't know, what does this represent? Because this was just, I don't know what I was feeling, but my daughter's crayon was nearby. A tooth.
Yeah.
And I just picked it up and it was like, so do you have to draw something that makes sense?
No, you can definitely make sense of whatever you draw.
Not me. Not every time. But yeah, sometimes I don't know if it's a feeling or a thing that
It's just sort of like mindless scribbling.
Yeah,
yeah, it's
it
just mindless
leads
scribbling. I
you.
don't know what it is.
Yeah, it leads you, and then on the end of it, you're like,
I could draw.
But listen, throughout my school life, I don't know if this was a thing for you guys. At the top right or bottom right of my pages, I used to draw palm trees or coconut trees. Anybody ever used to do
No.
that on the side of their pages?
no.
So I would start with like one palm tree, and then the next page with two, and then the next one with three, and then a cluster. And then when you do this, you see them running. On the
Whoa! You see, that's your creative mind, huh?
That's nice.
I don't know
That's
what I was
cool.
coping with,
Coconuts.
but the teachers nuts. The teacher was always saying, "Stop
These.
drawing in your book. Stop drawing in your book." But it was fun. Like it was my thing. But coming back to your happy place, how do we find a happy place? I would think that if I'm depressed, I'm not going to the beach, or the creek, or the sea, because
Yeah.
they just don't go together. It might just lead to something
Yes.
else. But how do you decide what's your happy
So
place?
I, in that case, you would want to start with a safe space first, right? Know where you feel, with all that you're going through, where you feel the most comfortable. And I ask this question in many high-level meetings, and persons would say on the top of a coconut tree when they were young in Essequibo.
Okay, understood that.
In their bedrooms, in the kitchen, by their friend's home, and from these things you can gauge to have some construct as to how their childhood was, right? But definitely figuring out where your safe space is before you can go on to your happy space, because once you know where you're safe and you're comfortable, you will have that space to exude your happiness.
What was your safe space, Ramona?
Yes, Ramona.
Marmite.
Let me see.
Listen.
Where is my safe space? I don't know. Anywhere probably that's. Once I'm in a hammock, I'm good.
Ooh.
Like a hammock, it needs to be a breezy area.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, with my Marmite and
You could have
Okay,
stopped
no.
at hammock.
Well, no, not my Marmite, but I actually really do enjoy Marmite. But yeah, like I like eating grated coconut and sugar. So like,
Eee.
so I would sit in a hammock and like if I go to a really really like country area, really breezy, sit down under somebody's bottom house or something.
Yeah.
But in the hammock, I'd eat my grated coconut with sugar, and I'm good to go. Like, don't bother
My
me.
safe space is books.
Yeah?
Reading. Like,
Yeah.
whatever is happening around me, I just get a book and I read, and then my brain is all over that book, like how many ways the story could have gone, or where do I think it's going next, and I can't put it down until I'm finished with it.
Yeah.
And then it motivates me now to read another book.
Oh, yeah.
And especially if you're reading online, like the Kindle, other books similar to this one will be
up,
recommended,
yep.
and that's me.
Oh wow.
It's
and that-
terrible.
Nah, that works for you. So kudos to that.
But what do you use to really study Kindle? The app? The Kindle
Yes.
app? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recently found an app that I could download every single book I've ever wanted and can remember. And it
Try
works
reading Miracle Worker, the
What
Helen
is it?
Keller story.
Miracle Worker.
Yes, it's a beautiful story. And no, this
But Ramon, you have space for more words?
the Scarlet Ibis
too.
is a
After
very
this.
sad story, but it's so deep and touching, and it makes you so mindful that I'd recommend reading it. But don't read it when you're not, like if you got stressed, don't read it then.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
because you have to have clarity of mind and
Yeah.
so on to read it and extract the lessons from it. But it's a really good book for that.
I'll read it
And
after
you're very
tomorrow,
woke.
as I'll probably have like a stress-less week, and then stress starts again. But yeah,
Okay,
I'll read it.
good.
I'll read
Good
after
for you.
Oh, wow. So I'm getting good nights from some of our survivors of cancer from the Ghana Cancer Foundation
Nice.
Survivors Club. Yeah, good night to Rosalind and Baby.
Good night.
Good
the-
night.
Yeah, and I have not heard from Auntie Ruby. Auntie Ruby, shout me out. Let me know that you're listening, because I haven't heard from you for this week. And I hope all is well. I know that you're always tuned in. Like Auntie Ruby doesn't miss. Even the week when I was out and pre-recorded, she was like, "Tell the girls I say so, and y'all let them know that they should do this and find out from them if they get home safe and let me know." I'm like, "You didn't ask me if I get home safe. I'm at
She's
an
an
event."
aunt.
But yeah, Auntie Ruby is like that. So send us a WhatsApp or a text and let us know that you're listening. And at this time, it is now 19 hours in studio. Our guest this evening is Akash Prasad, and he is a counselor, a guidance counselor at the Ministry of Education. Well, with the Ministry of Education, and he works in 6 of the educational districts across Guyana. I don't know how you do it. I just was teaching at one school, and there were so many issues to deal with the students, and you were doing it in 6 of the educational districts. So continue to go to your happy place and continue to, exude educators' pride.
Thank you very
so
much,
for
and thank you
having
very
us.
much for your blessings.
Yes, have a great evening, Akash. And to our listeners, we will be right back. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We got another exciting, educational, and inspiring segment coming up for you to, engage and talk with us. And Ashwini is going to give us some nice music now to, tone it down a little bit. Because we were so serious for the first hour, right? we were talking mental health. We got to be serious.
Gotta be serious.
We're going to go. It's 19 hours here in the studio at Edu FM. We will be right back on the Women Empowerment Program. Stay tuned.
And a cheat, your life is hidden in me. And I'm still God, the enemy just have to watch it. Your life is hidden in me. And I'm still God, the last time I checked.
This is Letitia Wright, and you're listening to the Women Empowerment Program. Big shouts out to Martina, Ramona.
I love you guys. So great question.
You don't ever have to be afraid to speak out against trafficking in persons. The Ministry of Human Services and Social Security has developed a safe and discreet sign to ask persons for help. Simply squeeze your palms 3 times. Learn the signs today. It might just save someone's life. Call the Trafficking in Persons hotline on 227-4083, 623-5030, or 624-0079. A message from the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security.
This is Letitia Wright, and you're listening to the Women Empowerment Program. Big shouts out to Martina, Ramona.
I love you guys. So great question.
Introducing the Women's Innovation and Investment Network's WIN app. It's the first Guyanese women's business directory that advertises your business completely free. Signing up and getting registered is easy. Simply log on to www.win.gov.gy or download the WIN app on your mobile device. Click the sign up button and follow the instructions. Then register your business by clicking the Register Your Business button and filling in your business details. Once your registration is approved, you can add your products and services, create promotions, and enjoy the free perks of being in the WIN directory. Register on WinGY today, Guyana's first women's business directory. Growing your business is just a few clicks away with WinGY.
This is Letitia Wright, and you're listening to the Women Empowerment Program. Big shouts out to Martina, Ramona.
I love you guys. So great question.
The woman that we have in studio right now, I always get excited when I see her in studio because I always learn so much.
Ah.
So Martina, go ahead and introduce her for our guests that are looking at her right now.
Oh, I got a question for you. Did you wish Letitia Wright a happy birthday last week?
No, I didn't. Happy birthday, Letitia Wright.
All right.
We signed her birthday card, remember? Yeah, we did. That was like a year ago.
Yeah. No, it wasn't a year ago. It was January month, and not a year yet. Close.
So, you see, we were the first people to wish her happy birthday.
First people to give her a birthday gift. We give her 2 gifts. We give her a card. Yeah. And I sent her a message on Instagram. Just telling her happy birthday, girl. You rock. I don't know if she saw it, but
she'll see it eventually. Maybe in time for next year's birthday.
With all the thousands of messages, mine was probably just buried. And then I'm not one of those people who wake up at 12:01 and say happy birthday. No, I'm not. I will tell you like 4 in the afternoon or something. By then, you've got a million messages there already to go through. All right, who do we have in studio? We have Shamila John, who is here to talk about many things. Usually we want to talk about this, but then she is a vessel with so much that we end up, or we feel, like inclined that we must ask some other questions. So tonight she is here as a member of the Women's Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Guyana. And while I'm also going to be playing host tonight, I'm also going to be on the other side of the fence being interviewed
Let me think of some hard questions.
Also, as a member of the Women's Chamber, the WCCIG here, the only women's chamber in the entire Caribbean. And I think that in itself is a huge accomplishment.
It is.
It is a huge accomplishment. So, normally we introduce Shamela, but tonight we're going to let her do a bit more talking and introduce herself and the role that she plays on the chamber and how she got there. So take it away, Shamela. Say good night to your listeners and take it away.
Okay. Good night, everyone. I'm Shamela John. I'm the founder of Racisco. And tonight I'm here in the capacity of the Women's Chamber. Prior to the elections that we held November 2, 2023, I sat on the board as the secretary for the past 2 years. It was a voluntary something. It started that way. And it ended up during elections, the other 2 times I was voted on as secretary. But I'm now presented with a different challenge this term, where I am seated as the treasurer on the board. I'm really very much looking forward to this particular adventure. I say adventure because every new accounting journey, it's an adventure for me. And working with Martina, who is our public relations senior director. We also have Chevon on board with us, Chevon Sears from Sears Consultancy. She is our membership director. A new addition to the board as well would be Lisa Mohammed as our training and development director. I don't want to say old, but seasoned directors like myself. We have Rowena Elliott, who was reinstalled as the... Well, I don't want to use the word installed.
Don't say installed. She was re-elected. Because, it's not like we just take her and just drop her there and say nobody else can get it.
She was re-elected by majority votes as our president, and she has been doing an exceptional job. I'd say she is the perfect wing woman when going to a networking event.
She could network.
Yes. her gift is as the president, the area that you focus on is advocacy for the chamber, and she does an exceptional job in that area. Sometimes she precedes me in terms of when she goes into a room. After I'm walking in person, I just spoke to Rowena and she said we should talk to you about registering or accounting services or some other information that they want to know about the chamber. By the time I'm like, yes, this is where you need to go. And we pinpoint person. So she is Miss Elliott she's a perfect wing person to go to a networking event with. Vice President, we have Aisha, and she was re-elected Vice President as well. And we have Secretary, Ms. Josephine Tapp, who was sitting on the prior board as the Training and Development Director. So we see new faces, and we welcome the new ideas, input as well on the board, and we look forward to the next year. I can't speak much about activities because new board was only installed November 2, and
this is last Thursday.
Yes. The night the group was already set up for that new board, and everybody that chat that evening, it was blowing up with ideas and it was input from everybody, and it was a whole connection. Like you're like, I have this idea, and I was like, that's good, and everybody's putting in, and it feels wholesome, and I'm excited. I'm just really excited to look forward to what this board will do for the chamber this year.
You said something when you started talking. You said you're looking forward to the work in this new role, the challenging, and I'm like, what? Because you're the treasurer, and for those of you who don't know, Racisco is a company that Shamela founded. She mentioned that, but it specializes in accounting and helps you with your finance and finance planning, and she has a whole Woman Evolved program that she's doing to help teach women about finances and growing their business and so on. So I don't see it as a challenge. I just see it, the only challenge that is probably there is that you got more work. But the work is in itself might not be challenged. That's how I see it. It's like
For
your
her.
baby.
For her. Just place emphasis on the for her part.
Yes. For me, no.
'Cause
I
she
do.
specialized.
I get somebody to do that. But that's. I'm really looking forward to seeing.
But that is really impressive, though. Like, every time we talk about numbers, like, you're already there.
These two people in here.
Yeah.
Our sound engineer, our
Our
sound
DJ
is mathematician and maths expert. And, it's we're not going off on a tangent. We're talking about women and the remarkable things that we do. But there are very, very few women mathematicians. I call them mathematicians because they got their maths degree, right? And they do their accounting and they do their finances. They're very few. I haven't been in the teaching service for a while. The number of males in the secondary, male teachers who do, the number of teachers that do math in the time that I spent there was mostly men. And then I started seeing more women coming in, although it's still mostly men. There are a lot of women coming in. And I think, listen, what you all do is remarkable. I'm sure if I put my mind to it, I might be able to do it. And then a mathematician said to me, the only reason you think you're not good at math is because you're probably lazy with numbers.
I don't disagree,
But
it's true for me. He said, it's true for me.
You sit down and read a whole set of books and interpret. Every book is a different interpretation. And you prefer that over math that is a fixed formula for everything?
Well, it's that.
And I'm like,
but like when I sit down to do math, and I'm saying this as somebody who is doing a statistics course right now. When I sit down, I see those numbers. I'm like, isn't there an easier way to do this? Let me ask somebody to do it for me. Like I legit had Jamie.
That is the easiest way.
When I had to do a previous math course, I even had asked Jamie, our live stream tech, to do my math work for me.
You were in a bad place.
I did.
I know, it's true. But I think it's a mental block.
Yeah. But just disclaimer.
I think it's because I think
I don't like maths.
Wow.
I do not like maths. I love accounting.
But it's so much math.
It's principle. It's principle.
Math is principle too.
I know, man. Like, math has the alphabet, and it's not just A and B. You got everybody in here, right? When they decide?
Yes.
Excel.
But for me, when you go into that X and the Y and the axis and the just
like, why make
give
the
me
alphabet?
subtraction, multiplication, division,
the basics,
and just give me numbers. I am a whiz. Give me numbers. Like in our family, if we're doing accounting and doing our budget and so on, my son or my husband might be busy putting it in Excel, and then I done 150 plus 240 plus 60 plus this, and then I group all the numbers. This one here was 7,000. This one is 3, so this is 10,000. Like, I'm not going through 7,000 plus 3,000. As soon as I see it, my mind already says 10,000, and by the time they finish calculating, I already know what the total is.
Yeah, like the basics.
That
ask me to
I
find a
can
missing
do.
number or something. I
But
could probably
never
do that.
find X and
But
Y
don't give
on
me
the
equations
axis.
and them.
But to be fair,
7 children running down the road. They turn left, and one ended up in the roof. What does Y represent?
Yeah, on a daily basis.
That's what I just said. Like, how do you even...
On a daily basis, we normally do the basic accounting, math, and so from just looking at it, our minds have already like
I do it without the X and Y.
But we don't realize that we're doing it, and that's the point where it shifts, where somebody say, when they start to put jargons in, like, this is algebra, and then they lose you.
This is sine,
But every day,
cos,
and
tan.
it goes to stuff like something as simple as finance or managing your finances. I think a lot of people are doing exceptionally well with how prices have been changing, and being able to manage yourself and not have that mental break, considering prices are changing, but that salary ain't changing, and you're still making things meet. That's management in itself. I don't need to say, you're doing personal money management or business management, but the fact that you're making it 2 ends meet, you're doing your own formula.
In some cases, most cases, it isn't documented.
Correct.
So you don't have the necessary paperwork and whatever to have that paper trail, essentially. So you can look back and say, yes, this is why, this month I just spent this, and I get that.
But I can tell you, if I have money for the bank or anywhere that I take a loan, if they accidentally charge me extra for any, I know right away. Don't bother with me not
You
liking
see?
math.
So you
I will
already
know.
know. Okay, on the 20th, the bank got take out $30,000, and you see 30,100 come out, or you see a
Yep.
something wrong.
I
there.
ask, I wait and I ask, what was that $100 for? It can be late fee because I don't. This is not late fee. This is fixed to withdraw. If it didn't come out, then that's your responsibility. That's the X. But anytime you trouble my money, I will know. All right. Now let's come back to the work in the chamber. So that's what you do. Anybody troubling the money, you
She know.
will.
Yeah.
You're the guardian of the cash.
Yeah, but what you were saying, I know the challenge that I look forward to is it's not just about ensuring finances coming in and the expenses made are legitimate or being able to provide a monthly report, but I find more than that in this journey when I say that, like, I'm looking forward to working with persons on potential projects. The chamber is a very good base point or starter support as an NGO to help businesses actually secure work on projects to secure funding. And NGO is important. I can tell from my experience where going through working on Women Evolve, I was advised, you if you're gonna continue going down this path, you might need to change your business to an NGO. And I was like, I don't want that because I still have my service. So because of one simple thing that I wanted to, I see that as my corporate responsibility, my social corporate responsibility, giving back. And in order for me to fully accomplish this, I need to change the NGO node. That's where the chamber comes in. And you work with the chamber to execute what you need to do. Those are the things that I'm excited for working on. I have the experience now even more in detail because I've done it myself and I've not just sat and managed the money aspect of it. Like now I've executed, I've administered, I've seen the whole process, and that in particular is what I'm excited and working with our members and how we can approach, who we can approach, and let's really, build that big collaborative environment.
All right, so let me back up now to a year ago. You've been in the role of secretary, so you know everything that the chamber has done. You had to write all the letters and the sponsors and everything. Let's look at the achievements of the Women's Chamber for the past year. What were some of your flagship projects, and where are we with those projects now?
So we have our gala coming up, or that's annual dinner, which
30th
is November to
Mhm.
30th. But I'd say the event that really holds a special place in my heart is the GWAGS, the Girls and Women Annual Summit. Mainly because you get an opportunity to really see persons and women in different line of capacity. Like those are the times you really understand that it's not just your office, not just in those spaces, but there are women in the fields, on the field, managing the field. And you get the opportunity to also meet with other women in the field. And that particular event brings so many women together from different fields. And every year I enjoy it.
So the GWAGS program, the GWAGS event is the Girls and Women Annual Summit.
Yeah.
And for that event, it's done every March
Every
to coincide
March.
with International Women's Day.
Correct.
And so we don't need to establish why it's done then. It's done then because it's International Women's Day. But what is the purpose of the summit?
Okay, so every year a theme is set, but it is balanced based on the theme that is set by International Women's Day. In this year, there was Sip the Tea, which was technology, empowerment, and advocacy for women. So you were creating a space where technology was highlighted and discussed. For example, off my head, I can talk about Evie Goldran from MTech. Girls in Tech.
Yes.
Yes. That provided a good baseline for her to, speak about how technology has influenced the market, developing businesses. And then there is empowerment, which would look at programs that, or not programs, but more so I'd say the girls' arm of the Women's Chamber. So the Women's Chamber has a girls' arm, which is the youth aspect, where we're not supposed to, but also make that connection to the young girls. And that is one of the avenues that we use to connect with young girls. At the last GWAGs, we had representatives. We tried to get more schools, but we had, I can clearly remember, I had persons from Saints, that's my old school.
Of course you remember.
Yes. The girls came out and they were very participative. They had panel discussion where the girls, they stood up and they asked questions. One of them was gifted a book from Miss Beverly Harper from Auntie McCall. And it was like they had the opportunity to see how things are when they're at that age, or trying to get there, and what are the hurdles they may jump, or how to know navigate around that. I believe another event would mainly be like our networking. Amongst our chamber itself, we try to keep quarterly meetings with our chamber members, and quarterly might seem like it's a lot of time, but between those meetings, seeing back this group of women, the energy that they bring when we're in the same space, that is something that I've enjoyed during.
But we
that
do
time.
see them outside
But
of those meetings, because there are many events that happen in between.
but not in the numbers.
But not the large
not
numbers.
in the numbers. So you look for the numbers at the meetings when everybody's there, and we're really getting a chance to connect and also find out more about each other. Because I can recall almost every time I go to a meeting, like there's a new person that says, I need this service, I need this, I need that. And you make that connection, as well as persons seeking just advice on how do I go about doing this. And you can point them to someone within the chamber that can assist. And if together there's nobody there that's offering it, we kind of try to bring a solution to that. So that is something I do enjoy, and I look forward to seeing more members come out, more persons joining the chamber, and that growth. I can't remember the exact number. But
77.
Oh, I was looking at growth rate.
18 they started with.
Yeah. So
yeah. I'm not good with numbers.
We're now at in the group 70. Well, you got minus the chamber number.
I
76.
did 77.
Oh, okay.
It was 78, but the chamber number makes it 77.
So catering to people who are so now joining us, or haven't ever heard from you before about the Women's Chamber, how do they join again?
So right now, as of this week, as of today's Tuesday, right?
Yes.
So yesterday the website has started updating, making changes, updating our form as
What's
well
the website?
as the WCCIGuyana.com. Sorry. However, it's currently under construction in terms of updates, so persons should be able to access it from Monday. Give our assistant some time to make the updates and changes, so that persons can also see the growth the chamber has been experiencing. Martina coming on board, it's also a blessing to the chamber as well, because one of the difficulties I believe we would have had is that we've had quite a few internal activities. Recently, I think it was Monday. It was yesterday.
Yes, ma'am. Yesterday. We had our first activity.
So many things have happened.
Yes, we had our first activity for this period, and it was navigating and negotiating in, what was the name?
It was a networking seminar. I'm just bringing it down to that.
Navigating network spaces.
Yes.
Addressing the gender gap was another topic at that event. So we had Dr. Shanti Singh. She came in and she spoke about, I can remember one that particularly hit home was the imposter syndrome. When it comes to women, where we're second guessing and am I good enough? Getting past that. And her message was that you are your own holdback. Basically, you hold yourself back. And the minute you get past that, you now begin to change the way persons even respond to you.
And pave a way for yourself
Shanti
to do even
Prasad,
more.
by the way. Let me correct you.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Shanti Prasad, you said sing. She's
my
Prasad. Yes, yes, yes.
Sorry.
But there was a good discussion that she had
Yeah.
because when she talked about you being your own enemy, not enemy like enemy, but you being your own stumbling block, you being your own hurdle. It's all in your head. And if she could move from being someone who was shy, who would sit in a room and go to a networking event to network, right? And sit in a room with 300 people and did not say hi to a single person in the room.
Sounds like me.
And then left the event still not knowing a single person, to now she's walking into a room committed to connecting with 3 people who she knows and leveraging her contacts to ensure that the connection is with people who there will be mutual benefit. So it's not just you walk in the room and say, oh,
Hi.
I want to know that young lady, I want to know her, and they look interesting, I'm going to... No. You're leveraging your contacts who know what you do, and they will connect you with people who can support your business and whose business you can support. So that was one of the key things. And the next thing for me that stood out was when Dr. Melissa Varsig talked about the way the business community sees and interprets the behavior of the different genders. So for men, they're like, he's so assertive. And for women, it's like, she's so
bossy
aggressive
and bossy and yep, I agree.
But really, it's you were assertive, but because of the stereotype where they see us as non-assertive, laid back.
That's how, you should be these things. And so when you portray quote-unquote
assertion,
masculine tendencies
yes,
or
they
traits,
she's bossy, come in the room talking like she's a man. That's it. Like she's a man. No, I'm not talking I'm a man. I'm a boss. I run a business and I've got questions and comments.
Like, you're right.
Yeah.
And you own that because you're aware that you know your stuff, and it's not even being overconfident. It's being confident.
And Dr. Melissa Varsig is one of those people who, I like we said, she practices what she preaches. She's like, I want to go bid for an oil block. She just wake up one day, it's like, if the men can do it, I can do it. You know what? I'm going to pull together some of my girlfriends who are in business, and we can bid for an oil block. And today, they've got an oil block.
Yeah.
First group of women in Guyana.
And I think because they did that too, there's another group that also placed a bid, I read recently.
Yeah, so it's good because we're inspiring people. And if, not because somebody else has never done it, you can do it, you could be the first to do it. And that's why joining the Women's Chamber is important. But as Shamela said, the website is currently under construction. All applications are currently processed through the website. The reason why the changes have to be made on the website, you've got a new executive, there are new subsections that are being created to ensure that we market ourselves more as well, and to ensure that we work on getting feedback from not just the membership, but from people on the outside who we partner with and so on, to ensure that we're meeting the needs of the membership. Because you can't sit down in a business planning. This is not a business, by the way. You can't sit down in the chamber planning all these activities for people
and they don't know about it.
Them.
Correct.
You got to plan and make sure it meets their needs, right?
So I'm assuming, based on your role as the Senior Public Relations Director, right? Did I get that right? Because, I don't remember titles.
Senior Director Public Relations.
Okay, yes, that. I'm assuming that a lot of this came about because of you, because you do this. You do a lot of this.
Because of all of us.
You recognize their potential, and Martina has this thing where she recognizes people's potentials, and she also sees the places in where you're not placing emphasis on, letting other people know this, or you're being too humble. It's okay to be humble, but you still gotta let people know.
Get lost in the corner of the room.
Yeah.
Right, right. So how do you feel about your role in all of this now?
I'm excited. I'm excited. I just can't hide it.
So that's why you get the whole new hair sushi and stuff. That's right.
This is because I didn't want to comb my hair. That's it. It's just like poof, afro. Yeah. But the thing is, I am enjoying the role already. We've always had ideas, and I've always collaborated with the chamber as a member, and I served temporarily as the events and the fundraising committee director when the former director resigned. It was just for a month because you had to ensure that planning continued, and so I served in that role. And during that time, I started working like crazy. I created an SOP, which I'm going to put to the board, and an events calendar for something every single month, which of course we know we're not going to do, but it's better to go high and then cut,
Yes,
cut
I got
out.
you.
And then everybody else got their ideas we're going to put to the table. I've designed a survey, which I've shared with another member of the board, and we are looking to tweak it before we can put it to the entire board. And I can tell you, the persons in charge of dealing with membership and recruitment and so on, they're already planning. They had their first meeting today. I'm like,
Yeah.
we behind. But we're working, and I like the energy, and it's amazing that Rowena has the energy still, even though this is her third year as president. We don't really count the first year because there was the pandemic year.
Yeah.
And then we don't count half of the second year because that was
Still
continued.
yeah.
So this is like her
1.5.
Her 1.5. So she's now really getting into it because there's no pandemic. And it could be draining because we all have different schedules. And if you're not mindful, you might start to mentally think that people are lazy, they don't come to meetings and so on. But you have to be very mindful of other people's schedules.
Yep.
Yeah, some people will not always be able to meet. Like, we're trying to set a date for a meeting this week. And it's not going to happen this week. Everybody got something on a particular day that we are doing.
Unavoidable.
That we can't.
Yeah.
Because we're all professionals. Everybody there got their own business.
But it helps too to have
So
a
next
bunch of
week is the
like-minded
meeting?
people
Yes,
around
it
you
does.
with that same understanding.
Well,
Yeah.
don't push too much on the like-mindedness, because like the saying.
We all going down. We all going to ditch at the same time. Not like-minded.
But we have I'd say, so the slogan for the chamber is championing a better future for women and girls, right? And I think holding that to the forefront of all of our minds and keeping that in sync, it brings us to the same table where those objectives are met.
And I like that. So the president has just messaged because she wanted to join us this evening, but she is currently preparing a presentation speech for an event. Yes, we have a lot of events. An event that's coming up tomorrow. It's never ending. There's the Woman Evolve Finance Meets Fashion event on Friday. Which is what Shamela organized, and we are all working together on that. And then next week there's another thing. We have our meeting, and we're planning a retreat, and we got the gala we're planning for. Oh, save the date. The gala is the 30th of November at the Marriott, and tickets are going to be $20,000. Save the date, put up that $20,000, start looking for your gown, and you just come. What was it? It's a black tie affair. Doesn't mean you come with a black tie. Black tie affair means it's an elegant ball gown. I don't know why they call it a black tie affair. It should be a ball gown affair. But yeah, it's a black tie affair. So save the date, November 30th at the Marriott, $20,000 for the ticket. And of course, we are looking, our target is 120 people. And so very soon, within a day, you should see the promotions starting for that activity. But this is the Founders Gala, and we want to continue to do the event. It's the annual gala because it's one of our major fundraising activities that will help to finance the projects and the trainings and so on.
Yeah, and the Founders Gala too, it's based on our bylaws. What's supposed to happen is the prior board uses that gala to basically welcome the new board on and usher that new board in and hand over. That signifies that handover process as well. And that's why it's called the Founders Dinner, where it focuses on the board that would have execute and passing that torch to the new people that are now taking up that mantle and continue to execute from there.
But it's one of the things that I've recognized since being on the board. Oh my gosh, I thought that the general membership group was active. It's like first thing in the morning you wake up to Big Reds.
Yes. I messaged her a couple of times too, and I'm like,
First thing in the morning, I don't know if it's 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. There's nobody who markets like her. You
morning.
wake up in the morning, and this is a member who has a restaurant, and the first thing you wake up in the morning, she's got her menu ready, and you can see it. Let me see what time.
Give Big Red a shout out.
5:30. Girl, and what she had today, she had beef stew and rice, curry. Sorry, I see curry chicken, but it's chicken curry she got here.
Okay. Okay, those are fighting words, ma'am.
Pot roast chicken and sweet and sour chicken and fish. And so every morning we wake up to this at 5:30, start the day thinking about food. And then after her, we have, they got sauce and so on. And then after her pops in Josephine, talking about the next event and the planning. So from the time you wake up, your brain is active on something positive that you can look forward to. And I love that. But when I thought they were busy, and I look, now I'm on the board, and I'm in the board
you
group.
look away.
2 o'clock in the morning, they're still talking. And I'm like, you know what? At this point, I'm not going to put another message, because if I do,
It'll
just trigger another conversation.
Yeah, because
somebody's
the
always
conversation
up.
a lot. We were like, okay, it's time for us to go to bed, and then Rowena would say, I got this email I'm working on, and then I can do. And it's like, okay. And then she'd message, this happened. We would continue the conversation, and it's all about the chamber. You better do everything. This is happening. How can we do this? What next? So that conversation keeps going, and then somebody might drop something that gives you an idea, and you don't want to miss that, so you drop that in the group, and then Aisha's gonna make a comment, and then Martina's gonna jump in, Siobhan is gonna jump in,
I went to sleep, obviously, because my last message was at 10:47 last night, and then this morning at 5:34, and went between my 10:47 and 5:34. There were 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and everybody, y'all asleep? But I'm saying this because the work of the chamber is so exciting, and the aim is to really help promote women in business and help them and push them to do great things, and just seeing the energy 2 o'clock in the morning and people responding, and
I think too, during the day it's a bit tough as well, because again, everybody owns a business.
Yeah.
And then some persons got business, and then they got projects.
Y'all are polite. Y'all be like, I'm gonna be offline for the next 2 hours. I'm like, who does that? Like, I'm gonna go to a client now, and I will not be. Was it?
Because it's.
I'm heading to a site. I'm not readily available. Private message or call if it's urgent. Like,
yes. Because
very
it's
polite.
important. Okay, let me share for example, right? The chamber phone. A lot of us access emails and so on. Sometimes you have to make contact with the secretary to get information directly from the chamber phone to log in to certain emails. And they would send that code to the phone. So what has developed over some time is mainly we've learned to keep in communication. Nobody disappears out of that, and we're like, we need something, we can't access this person, we don't know. So it's more built out. Okay, so I know at this point, for example, Rowena, from being the secretary, I know Rowena, she's going to start working at about 8 in the night, and she can close off about 12. So I know I could catch her around the time, and she knows she could catch me from about 12 when she clocking off, so 12 to about 3. And then you'd have Josephine in between as well. And then, Aisha has a very, very active son. So sometimes we would be in the middle, she would be doing Spanish homework while still talking to us. So we learn in Spanish too, right? But everybody, that I find that midnight time, that late hours time, it's something common with women. And I guess, we have families, children after classes that we want to attend to for them. Of course, give that home care when you get home, and then by the time that's done, it's 9 o'clock.
And you're at it again.
So you decide to wind down, and then of course there's the voluntary aspect, which is the chamber. And I don't know, for me, that's when it comes to that switch mode, it's like, how best could I put this time into the chamber so we can get more out of it. And I appreciate putting back out there to the members.
Yeah. But okay, so let's say I've got a business and I'm not a member of the chamber, but you want to convince me to join the chamber. What are the benefits of becoming a member of the chamber?
So I remember being asked that question a lot when I now joined the chamber, especially when I started to be the perform secretarial duties. And for me, from my personal experience, it's what you bring to the chamber and then what happens out of that. So I've learned from sitting in that role how to better my people skills. Prior to that role, you'd
be trembling in this room.
Yes. I wouldn't have even come. I would not have even come. And then Pops, I started to work with the board 2020, 2021, and here comes GWAGs. And I'm available, but the other persons are available, so I have to do the radio interviews. And I'm in there, and I'm trembling, and they're messaging, "You're fine, you're doing great." And I'm like, no. But fast forward to 3 years to today,
You seem very
much
comfortable
better.
right now. Yep.
I'm much better at it.
And now you can sit and watch these and don't even want to touch them. This is an inside joke with the men.
So another thing is the support. So let's say you're experiencing a particular problem. I can use my business as an example. When I started, it was more so fine-tuning what persons needed out of a service, especially as an accountant. And best believe it, from the time I joined, I've probably had a conversation with at least 90%, well, 100% on the grounds that I have to call each member before I add them to the WhatsApp. But actually engaging with them on how they're finding their accounting service, I would have had the opportunity to speak with each and every one of them, understanding what the difficulties they may have had, even if it's in a professional capacity, because my girl Melissa George from Ghana Payroll Solutions, I could drop her a message and say, look, this is how do we go around this, and we would have that communication with each other, accountant to accountant. And then that's an accountant conversation, and then you want to have conversations with persons using the systems or persons actually that don't have a system and are facing difficulties. So that provided a large space for me to be able to develop and fine-tune the service that we see as Cisco today.
So it helps you to tweak your business to suit the market.
Yeah, more so I'd say use the members interact with the members to understand how better I can provide a service, because that was what I needed to understand how best now. Because I'm providing accounting, I can do financial statements, I can help you file your taxes, we can work on a business proposal, we can do several things. And when I remember doing accelerator program, it was that I can do several things, but I needed to zero into my value-added services. And through working with the women in the chamber, through talking with them, using, like, when I say feedback, where I can say, this is what I did, how did you do this? And we have that conversation, and you get to fine-tune it. And eventually, some of those same members became my clients. We develop a relationship. And then there are persons outside of that didn't come on as client. They feel free to call whenever they want or whenever they can. Hey, Shmela, I'm having this difficulty. How do I get this done? I'm like, this is how. And I do the same thing. When I was working on the product that's going to be launched on Friday at Finance Meets Fashion, I reached out to DGI, which is Darshini, and she helped with fireproofing. We were looking at fireproofing, and we had the discussion on fireproofing. So I was now able to consider this option when building out that product. In that, I also am learning. I don't have an immediate families yet, but I'm also learning how women are currently managing both, and it's a big fear of mine. Am I gonna have the capacity to do it? But I'm learning, because I messaged Darshini, and she's like, it's Sunday, it's family day, and I was like, that is also because I don't even recognize days,
right? Because you don't have that,
right? But I see, so they actually put time aside for family, and that's also teaching me. So it's joining the chamber, it's a moment to learn. It's a moment to also give back. It's a space to have support. If you're faced with a challenge, you can reach out to that group, and you're gonna find that there are other persons that are facing the similar problems. And if it's 5 y'all, then now it becomes a whole group of 5 persons that can take that challenge on. And that was the best part of being part of a chamber. You have that group support.
And then you got training opportunities too, because
Yep,
there are training
yes.
activities throughout the year. So
Correct.
you get training in finance management. There's training in learning how to network. There's training in finding a niche. There's so much that is done. Like in the you can't even sit and measure it in terms of money. Some people ask, well, I'm in the chamber and I really can't see the benefit. The Sherry Blair Foundation, mentoring women in business, which many of our members have done, and the accelerator and accelerate, all those things. I cannot pay the head of PayPal to sit with me once every 2 weeks to mentor me in my business. But right now, my mentor is heading PayPal in Mexico, mentoring me at no cost to me. Cost to me. I sit 1 hour every 2 weeks with my mentor.
So you set your schedule.
Yes,
and
you
your
have to put in all your
portal.
goals and everything.
Yes.
And it's like a match made in heaven, because they don't just say, oh, I can find a mentor. They ask you everything about you.
That call is
and
very
then they
detailed.
find out everything about all the mentors. And they come, I don't know how they did it, but they've brought Laura and I together. Laura is a former journalist, done investigative journalism, had her own PR company. Every stage that I've gone through, that I'm going through, she has been through. And it's amazing that some of the same issues that are happening in our families, like my mom was sick. Before that, she had the identical issue with her dad and how it affected her business. And same with mine. It was like, wow, like how did they do this? So when you get matched with a mentor who's heading PayPal, who you cannot afford to pay for an hour, and you can sit and ask what's the benefit of being in the chamber, then you got to come down from cloud 9 because you're not seeing the blessings that are there.
The chamber has an MOU with the Sherry Blair Foundation. So the programs that they offer, and particularly the mentorship program, there's a November intake for the Sherry Blair, and there's a May intake for the Sherry Blair. But that's not the only body. There's the Global Women in Management, which I would have had the opportunity to sit on that course. I was part of the GUM 72. Rowena was part. The
This
president.
is Atlanta?
No, this is
the Atlanta
Washington.
trip? Oh, Washington trip. Okay.
The Atlanta trip is the NOLA trip.
Okay, yes.
The New Orleans, yeah. And Miss Black, who is one of our founding members, she's also, I think she's GUM 70 or 71. I'm not sure. But that's another program that is also, and that is, it gave the amount of exposure we've had in a year from that, and they would have helped with my proposal writing. They're also heavily involved in helping you make the step. As long as you're willing to push yourself, they're like, okay, you want a bat? This is how you find a bat. You want a ball? This is how you hit the ball.
They literally spoon feed you.
Well, I would say spoon feed. You still have to.
They spoon feed you in terms of the steps.
Oh,
getting
yeah,
there.
like, yeah.
So you
They're
don't have to worry.
They're
you just
there.
have to keep up. That's the thing. You gotta keep up because it's fast.
I know, no reason to feel, like, am I making mistakes? Am I doing this all wrong? Ladies, like, this is your space for growth. This is where you can just break that molding down and restructure it into what is it you're looking for. And one of the impressive part of it, and I want to share this, during this last journey, someone said to me, don't you think too much is happening for women? And I was left aback, like, are you really? Because there was a period where nothing was being done. And now
women
that
are
these
taking
things
upon
are
themselves to
happening,
make these things happen
and
too.
the persons that would have grown out of it, they are now reaching back and doing something. It just seems like there's a lot. Because if it was too much, that gender gap disparity would have been so different.
Yeah.
So it brings us right back to, keeping that vision alive through the chamber, that these catering for women and all left out, I would say minorities, in whatever sense it may be. But going through these various programs and it being through the chamber, it highlights up a basis for us to see it in a sense of equity and not equality. Because one of our mottos, actually, I think not this year, the year before, was embrace equity. And that it speaks not to say, oh, I want to give everybody the same thing, but I'm looking at your circumstance, your situation, and I realize you need, you need 50, but I might need just 10, and we're both still functioning at perfect capacities.
I don't know, like, we've been having the same meetings, have we? Because the equity and the equality conversation is something that we have a lot. And I like to describe it or explain it in a simpler way, where 10 people in this room and you got 10 pairs of shoes and you decide everybody can get a size 10.
Yeah.
But I don't wear a size 10.
I
So you giving me a size 10 shoes and telling people, oh my God, I give 10. I didn't get something that I could use, so it's useless. That's equality. We were equal, we got the equal
all
thing.
got shoes.
But there's no equity because
it
I
can't fit
use
me.
mine.
Yep.
And that is what the chamber allows for all the women who are in the group: international collaboration, advocacy, networking, training opportunities, and a lot of the things that you're exposed to. You can take your bits from all of it and tailor it to suit what you need. So if you're a woman in business, or even if you're not a woman in business, but you're a professional at a corporation, you're working for someone, you can join the Women's Chamber as an individual member. You could join it as a company. There are different categories of membership. And when you join the chamber, all these benefits are there. $20,000 is the cheapest.
That's for the individual membership.
That's for the individual, but there are other packages, and you can find out about those packages as soon as our website is back up. We don't.
But the Facebook page has information, doesn't it?
So
you
there's
can also message on Facebook and get information.
There's the individual package that is $20,000. There's the company package, and then there's associate, which it increases based on the number of persons that you would want to include. And that is monitored mainly because, remember, if I say you pay for 3 persons and we add 5, it shows up when it's time to vote. So it's important that we keep those things in check. So if you pay, let's say, 50,000, that's equal to 2 members, 2 votes.
And it's controlled to an extent too, because you don't want a situation where somebody with deep pockets could come into the chamber and pay for 40 seats and just usurp everybody's authority and then use the chamber for their own purposes, right? So there's control that.
So sort of like a shareholders kind of placement in terms of.
Well, not really. It's more. You get
it. You have a
membership.
say.
It's something like that. You have a say. You have a say. But there's still control on your say. Because, like I said, we don't want one company, at one of those oil and gas companies coming and say, here, $40 million. We control the members, the chamber now. It's now the oil and gas women chamber.
Well, being the treasurer, they could give really $40 million a donation.
We can't accept the donation. Yes,
I
but
accept
you're not going to get the votes.
We'll accept the donation, but
you're not going to get the seats to vote. Yes.
Because we can put that into good use. We can add more activities to our calendar. So if you're looking to make a donation or contribution to a women organization, you can reach out to the Women's Chamber. You can drop us a message on Facebook. You can ask specifically for the treasurer, and we can set up a meeting with you and the rest of the board where we can have a discussion where you can meet and also be able to contribute to the chamber. Because I know there are persons that are genuinely interested in women's development. I've had the privilege of meeting quite a few of them that assisted along the way with my program as well. And not just in Guyana, but externally, I've had amazing conversations that there's a lot to come, especially with the women community. And pay attention. Because another program is the We3A program. There's a lot of programs happening through the chamber.
Yes, a lot of them.
You can access the information portal.
Yeah. To get involved, you can sign up and register with the chamber at any time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Throughout the year.
But consider this. Consider if so persons that, let's say you join halfway in the year, you want your fees go over to next year. No, it don't work like that.
From January to December.
No, the chamber year, it's
the chamber
November
year.
to
Okay.
October. So if you're looking to join strategically and you want to take full benefit of that full year subscription,
Join
Sign up
now.
now.
join now. Drop that call, message Facebook, XYZ. But however, at some point that funds can't be reallocated to the next year.
All right.
Gotcha.
When it is going good, we don't notice the time, but we have to stop here. I want to say good night. Yes, to Auntie Ruby, she has checked in, and she said, good night, girls. I'm so
Good
proud of all
night.
of you. Make sure you all go home safe. Lovely program. Love you all. And we love you and your chips, too. All right, and good night to the other members of the Women's Chamber of Commerce and Industry Guyana, the only women's chamber throughout the entire region. Thanks to Akash Prasad, who was our first guest this evening, talking about guidance counseling in schools and, of course, how we can empower women in our communities. Thanks also to my lovely co-host and our sound engineer here,
DJ
Ashley.
Ash.
Yep. All right. Good night. Checking out here at Edu FM on 99.7 FM in Georgetown. Good
Bye.
night. Bye-bye.
This is Letitia Wright, and you're listening to the Women Empowerment Program. Big shouts out to Martina, Ramona.
I love you guys. So great question.